Hello, friends. I'm so outdone today. Outdone. I'm outdone every week, actually. I'm annoyed. Hello, friends. Welcome to Woke Wednesday. I woke up so pissed today. Hi, Andrew. Hi, Krista. Hello. Hi, peeps. So happy to see all of you. How's everybody's week going as I wait for more people to join? Hi, Danette. To say that here's the thing. Before I get into my entire rant that I have, because today I am pissed off. And do you know why I'm pissed off? Because I thought that things were going to be, what's that word? Different. I thought that, I had this mustard seed of hope that, we would get rid of Trump, through grace. And hi, Marley. Hi, Anne. I'm so high. It's like when everybody walks into the room at a party, because we can't go to parties these days. And you're like, hey girl. That's how I feel on Instagram Live. It's like the highlight of my week, but also the bane of my existence, because it forces me to watch the news. And I don't really want to watch the news. But here's the thing. So I had this mustard seed of hope that once we got rid of Donald Trump, once Donald Trump left the White House, that Trumpism would begin to fizzle out, right? Because there have all been these talks for months, if not fucking years, that there were somewhere in some fucking back room that there were these Republicans who were totally against Trumpism. But they're telling people in secret, right? And what did we learn about the silence of our friends? So we would read the Washington Post, read the New York Times, and they would say, well, some Republicans, they are just so outdone by Trump's behavior. You had Susan Collins tell us that the first time around in impeachment, he was going to learn his lesson. You have all of this bullshit that led me to believe that when Donald Trump was finally gone, when we finally voted him out, that then we could return to normal. There would be this slow but necessary return to normal. Well, that ship fucking sailed yesterday when I realized that, here's the thing. 3 weeks ago, we had insurrectionists literally shoot up the Capitol building of the United States. Thousands of people entered with zip ties and with a mission to assassinate the Vice President of the United States, the Speaker of the House. Members of Congress had their panic buttons ripped out of the walls of their offices. We have it all on tape, and we're seeing people, as they're getting picked up by federal agents, they're being asked, what led you to this insurrection? Like, what happened to you? And they say, Donald Trump. I was just following orders from my president. And the funny thing about the phrase following orders, right, is that that's what they said in the Nuremberg trials in Nazi Germany, right? They said when the Nazis were on trial that they were just functioning as the good soldiers to Hitler. And so if their job is to follow orders, then that's what they're going to do. And you see, but that phrase, though, that phrase is the beginning of the end. It's when you know that something is wrong, but instead you're just going to rest your laurels on the fact that you're just following somebody else. So we have video, we have people in their own words, we have them on social media providing interviews. But get this, guess what the fuck happened yesterday? All of the Republicans, except for 5, all of them, except for 5 of them, voted to dismiss the trial of Donald Trump in its entirety because they said it was unconstitutional because he was already removed. Do you know what the fuck is unconstitutional? Insurrection is unconstitutional. getting together thousands of people and telling them to go storm the Capitol building and do so by force is unconstitutional. Do you know what else is really interesting about people out of office and them saying, it's what's done is done, like let's just move on? Is that Hillary Clinton had been out of office for at least a year or two as Secretary of State in the Obama administration. But that didn't stop Republicans from pulling her into testimony for 11 hours on Benghazi. So ask me again how one thing, right, is okay when we're talking about trials for Democrats, but when we're talking about holding the most corrupt and criminal disgraced former fucking president accountable, the clock has run out. Isn't it amazing? So the clock runs out all the time when we are wanting to hold Republicans accountable. But apparently the clock never runs out for Democrats, right? We couldn't possibly have held hearings for Merrick Garland, right, to become a Supreme Court justice because we had 9 months until an election. That was what Mitch McConnell said. We have 9 months, let the people decide. But when it was time to rush through Amy COVID Barrett into the Supreme Court justice's seat, 30 days is plenty of time to hold a confirmation hearing, so long as the person that you're appointing is a lifelong Republican. What the fuck? I am so tired. Because here's the thing, I am exhausted today. I'm still drinking coffee and it's like fucking 3:30. But nonetheless, here's the thing. Here's the lie that I want to put to rest today, right? Like I don't want to hear people discuss it anymore. So here's the lie I want to put to rest. Republicans and Trumpism go hand in hand. Everybody thought that when Donald Trump left office, that the Republican Party was going to look for what? Like a new daddy, like a new someone to hold and cuddle them? No, they didn't. They like the one that they have. Donald Trump is still the big daddy of the Republican Party. How do we know this? I don't know. Because he made a fucking phone call to the Arizona Kelly Ward, right? The person who was just reelected, a QAnon person that was just reelected to become the chair of the GOP. He made a phone call because he can't tweet at her. I mean, that's still good. He made a phone call which was recorded where he said he was praising her for all of her good works. He was praising her like she's going to be the future. The woman is a fucking nut job. But yes, she is going to be the future of the Republican Party. Her and the Josh Hawleys of the world and the Ted Cruzes of the world, everyone that everybody says on cable news, they should know better. They should know better. When are we going to realize that they don't know any fucking better? That this is actually what they know and they're acting out on what they know? And what they know to be true is this. White supremacy is it. By hook or by crook. That's what they are about. That's what they are doubling down on, right? And so it doesn't matter whether Donald Trump is still the president of the United States because he is still the embodiment of all of their values, which is to suppress the ability of black and brown people to be fully fledged citizens of these United States and to have our fucking votes matter. And so it doesn't matter. Listen to how fucking crazy this cult is right now. That these motherfuckers were hiding under chairs and benches and using furniture to barricade themselves and their staffs in their offices, right? While listening to them chant, "Hang Mike Pence," who they are still currently threatening. But no, let's move on. No, we want to do this false equivalency with minority speaker. Oh my God, Kevin McCarthy needs to shut the fuck up, okay? Getting on television talking about, everyone's responsible for what happened on 1/6. Everybody's responsible. I'm not fucking responsible. Are you responsible for what happened on 1/6? Did you go and tell people at that rally beforehand to go by strength and by force to take your country back like Rudy Giuliani did? Did you tell them that you are warriors and patriots like Ivanka Trump and Trump Jr. did? Was that you? Because it sure as fuck wasn't me. And so when Kevin McCarthy says, oh, well, you know what? You know who's also to blame for this incitement? Nancy Pelosi, when back in 2017, she ripped up Donald Trump's speech after the State of the Union. She ripped it up, one, because it was fucking trash, okay? But also, really? Oh, so does everybody remember what happened after that State of the Union? Did you storm the Capitol? Did Antifa take over Congress? Right? Were there threats to members of the Republican Party on their lives and the lives of their family because Nancy Pelosi ripped up a speech? No, there was not. So stop with the bullshit false equivalencies, and dear friends in the fucking media, stop allowing them to have this line of bullshit without you stepping in and saying, whoa, wait, let me stop you right there. Let me stop you right fucking there. What happened after Nancy Pelosi ripped us? What happened after AOC tweeted that Donald Trump was evil and was a racist? Was there a war that broke out? Was there violence that broke out? No, there fucking wasn't. So there's no equivalence between these two things. But when we continue to give people like Kevin McCarthy, like Josh Hawley, like Marjorie Gun on my hip fucking representative, when we continue to give them an audience, we are legitimizing the bullshit that they say. Now, you may not see them on an MSNBC, but I'm seeing these motherfuckers on Face the Nation. I'm still seeing them on CBS and NBC and ABC, these reputable fucking outlets, because they want to be seen as what? As what? Neutral? There is no neutrality in the face of insurrection. Do you understand? Either you are against it or you are fucking for it. So right now, this is what I want to say about the Republican Party. They are no longer a party, and so from here on out, I'm going to stop referring to them as such. Because a party, right, our democracy is built on a two-party system where both parties decide upon the rules, right? That our government is going to be ruled for and by the people, and that the Constitution is going to be our bounding creed. And so if you have a group who is actively working against that, then you no longer have a democracy. So what I think is happening, folks, is that I think that we have pressed pause on American fascism, but I don't think it's gone. And I think that if you are really in tune, do ask yourself if you feel safe right now. If you feel like the fact that there are still 5,000 National Guardsmen currently in Washington, D.C. until mid-March after the Trump impeachment trial because they're not so certain that nothing's going to pop off in the interim. Do you feel fucking safe? The former president of the United States, as well as Liz Cheney and the handful of Republicans that have decided to speak out against Donald Trump, are having threats on their lives. Do you feel safe? Do you feel safe that in America, we are living in a place that if right now there were gunshots that blurted out at the Capitol building, or you heard of a member of Congress being attacked, that would be outside of the realm of possibility like it was prior to Trump? So don't get it twisted and think that just because we had this historic inauguration last week that all is well. Donald Trump, listen to what this motherfucker did. Found himself opening up an office for the former president of the United States. Bitch, you didn't work in an office when you were the president of the United States. You can tweet and eat bonbons from everywhere. You don't need to rent office space, right? Like, what the fuck is coming out of that former office? It's nothing more than a grift. It is an opportunity for Donald Trump to set out yet another outpost in order to suck his stupid fucking sycophant followers dry. Understand? Do you know what Donald Trump did? Remember the flurry of what do they call them? What do they call them? When you pardon people? Yeah, remember the pardon parade? He pardoned Steve Bannon. Do you remember what Steve Bannon did? Steve Bannon stole money from his supporters who gave Steve Bannon money, the organization that he was ahead of money, to build the wall. And he pardoned him for stealing money from his own people. And these people still give him money. So at this point, right, they're talking about Donald Trump is furious. right? He's setting up this office so that he can place targets on the backs of these Republicans that went against him and, lived in reality and recognized that he lost the election, and not by a little bit, but by a lot. And not only by a lot, but, Democrats turned over multiple fucking states, right? That Republicans have had a stronghold on for the past 30 years. Here I sit on this Good Wednesday, and I am wondering, how many more years America has. That's what I woke up thinking about this morning. I'm like, I feel like the next 4 years are going to be a break, right? Like, I need some mental space, right? Like, I need some time to gather my sense and my wits about me. But I feel like the entirety of this organized domestic terrorist group, formerly known as the GOP, are sitting somewhere in bunkers figuring out how they're going to overthrow the government in 2022, when members of the Senate and House are again up for re-election, and then in 2024. Because here's the thing, while people think that there's no purpose to impeachment, right, to this trial, they're like, oh, Trump is gone. That motherfucker out there saying he's gonna run again in 2024, right? So if you actually gave a fuck about the Republican Party, then wouldn't you want to find someone new to be in charge? Wouldn't you want to strip this motherfucker of his ability to continue to thwart your party? But no, they're doubling, tripling down on it. And so here we are. Is Donald Trump going to be impeached in a few weeks? No, he's not. Is Donald Trump going to run for office if in fact he's not in jail? Because both the DC Attorney General's office and Manhattan District and the whole of New York are looking into his criminal activity. So the only hope that we have, folks, we have no more hope or faith in our congressional leaders to do what's right. These people are off. They are gone. This is Jonestown up in this bitch, right? This is Kool-Aid drinking motherfuckers up in this bitch, okay? They're not coming back. And so Donald Trump now, right? Not only has he, is it fair for me to say that Donald Trump ruined the Republican Party as if they weren't trash before? No, he unmasked them. So that's what I'll say. Donald Trump unmasked the Republican Party, but at the same time is also threatening to start a third party called the MAGA Party. And I'm like, so what's the difference between the former GOP and the new MAGA Party that he wants to start? Does the new MAGA Party, do they just wear Ku Klux Klan outfits? Are they just dropping the N-word, when they go to, what is actually the line between these groups now? And so here's the thing. I think that our democracy is pretty much on life support. And when I say life support, I mean life support, feeding tube, outlook not good. If you were shaking the magic 8 ball, it would say outlook not good. And so, friends, my people always tell me, Danielle, you need to be a little bit more hopeful. Look, we have a Black woman and an Indian woman as the vice president of the United States. Look at the slew of executive orders that Biden has. By the way, Biden has done more work in less than a week than Donald Trump did in the last 2 years of his presidency. More work. But the fact is that these people aren't going away. And if they are a cancer, right? And if cancer not treated continues to spread, how long before it infects everything? Because what we know, right, in latest reports, is that Donald Trump's tentacles are everywhere. The Department of Justice was working in cahoots with Donald Trump to overthrow this election. Those people are still there, right? Because remember, folks, massive exits happened at all of our government agencies over the last 4 years. We just learned this week from the interview that Dr. Burks did over the weekend that in the entirety of the administration of Donald Trump, they had one person working on COVID, one and a group of volunteers. That's what Dr. Burks said on the Sunday talk shows. And I'm sitting there like, scarf lady bitch, how did you sit by and allow for this to happen and say nothing? Say nothing until Donald Trump is safely out of office. Now you want to tell us that we had a bunch of fucking volunteers leading up our global health pandemic and we all looking around wondering how over 400,000 people have been killed? Because that's the thing, folks. They did not die. Over 400,000 Americans have been killed, right? Through a Trump-induced genocide. This is why I say to people, language matters. People want to say, Danielle, you're hyperbolic. I had somebody write in a comment the other day and say, you know what, people could hear you more if you didn't curse. People could hear me more if they opened up both of their fucking ears. How about that? How about I don't like to pretend that the situation is not dire by creating a euphemistic environment in which you get to feel good. Everyone should be fucking uncomfortable right now because that's where change actually happens. It doesn't come from your comfort zone. So shut the fuck up about how much I curse. You don't like it, you can change the channel, right? It's a free world for right now. Anyway, I want to think about the positive for a moment. So let me say this. We had a slew of executive orders that came out, many historic. Let's start with what Joe Biden did yesterday. In his attempt to hold himself and his administration accountable, right, to the community that put him in office, and says that in order for us to clean out our criminal justice system, to rebalance our criminal justice system, he's banning for-profit prisons. Because guess what? You're going to look to incarcerate people and keep them in prison longer if it means more money. Anything that has money fucking attached to it, right, is going to keep running. So our criminal justice system, our prison industrial complex has never been about rehabilitation. It has been about making money off the backs of black and brown people. It is the rope-a-dope for us to move from a slave state, right, where we are forcing prisoners who are in, a lot of them, on trumped up drug charges, right, to do our bidding. Do you know who was trying to put out the fires in California? California prisoners who were making 2 cents a fucking hour were acting as our firefighters. Do you think that they had a choice? No. It's either do that or you stand in jail for forever. Or you can risk your life and then you can turn around when you're up for parole and say, look what I did, if in fact you survive. Right? Like, how are we rehabilitating people? We're not. We're just building more prisons. So by Joe Biden signing that executive order, that was a huge deal and shouldn't go overlooked. We also have, right, getting rid of the ban against transgender people in the military. Now, remember that Donald Trump did that via tweet, that he rolled back transgender people being able to openly serve in the military via tweet, and it shocked the shit out of, guess who? The military. Because they didn't see anything wrong over the past several years where transgender people were openly serving. But what would Donald Trump know about patriotism with his bone spur draft dodging ass? Nothing, right? So Biden got rid of that. He also gave a nod to our allies across the pond and around the world that we were going to start fighting climate change again by rejoining the Paris Climate Accord. He also decided to rejoin the World Health Organization, right in the middle of a global health pandemic, right? Signaling once again, America is back. And so these acts, and there are several more, folks, right? He also signed an executive order getting rid of the Muslim ban. He signed another executive order but a few hours ago stopping the child separation policy. Now, we know that these are just steps, and the problem with executive orders rather than actual laws and legislation is that all it takes is somebody else to to come into office in 2024 and undo everything that Biden is trying to undo that Trump did. This is the problem with the pendulum of our politics swinging back and forth from right to left all the time. It's that we never fucking get anywhere. Because if every 4 years I take 2 steps forward, but then another 4 years I take 1,700 steps backwards, where the fuck are we? Nowhere. Right? This is why, and this is the thing that pisses me off just in general about our politics and about the conversations that Democrats fail to have, is that you have to paint the Republicans for who and what they are. They are a people that despise equity. They are a people that hate black and brown people. They are a people that believe that the only citizens worth giving anything to are white. And anybody else who is in line waiting to receive, I don't know, let's say back their tax dollars that they pay into a system, but you ain't gonna cut me a stimulus check, right? Because you're gonna say to me that the American people, are too fucking needy? No, it's just that you don't want anyone who is not white, straight, or Christian to receive any benefit from this government, but you want to build this country on everybody else's back? Get the fuck out of here, right? Like, just stop. And so if you don't paint the picture very clear for the American people, then they continue with this false both sides bullshit. Oh, they both do this. No, only one group created an insurrectionist army to violently overthrow our government and leave 5 people dead in its wake. Only one group did that. Did you see any Antifa or pro-democracy flags that were waving on the Capitol steps that day? I sure as fuck didn't. What I saw was the Confederate flag and a motherfucker walking around with the t-shirts that said Auschwitz camp. That's what the fuck I saw. So that's who they are. So let us stop with this false idea where we believe that Republicans are better than who they are, because I'm going to say this, the thing that I say every day almost on Woke AF, which is my twist on Maya Angelou's quote. And here is my twist. When motherfuckers show you who they are, believe them the first fucking time. Okay? I don't need a noose around my neck to know that your policies are instituted in order to kill me, right? In order to force us into a place of oppression and hopelessness, right? Like, we're smarter than that. So stop trying to create this scenario where we're looking to extend olive branches to people that would rather beat us to shit with them. Like, what the fuck? Just wake up. Just wake up. Because see, the thing is, and this is what I'll say with my last 2 minutes. The thing is this, is that you can't make real progress when you continue to operate in a state of fantasy. And the fantasy that we are operating in is that we are still in a 2-party functioning democracy, and we are not. That ended the day that Donald Trump descended down the stairs. And people will say to me, Danielle, I thought that you were going to stop talking about Trump. I will stop talking about Trump when Trumpism is gone. I will stop talking about Trump when there has been actual accountability for his wrongdoing and, I don't know, him threatening the whole of humanity and having an entire cult behind him that is still cheering him on till this very moment. You cannot change things you do not face. That is what James Baldwin said. And so until we face the reality of who this cult has turned into, we are never going to move forward. All we're going to do is press pause. And I, for one, do not want to circle back to this bullshit in 2024. Miss me with it. I will take my passport and I will do this shit from someplace else. Okay? Because I cannot. As my mother says, don't take this on a cellular level. I already meditated this morning, but this shit got me hot. I am hot. And if we don't stay vigilant, right? The next person that comes along is going to be more articulate and better looking, right? Easier on the eyes, easier with the words than Donald Trump. And guess what? That person will get elected and reelected. And that's what we all need to be paying attention to. That is it For me, friends, this week on Woke Wednesday, if you want more of Woke AF Daily, then head to patreon.com/wokeaf. $5 a month for 5 brand new shows each and every week with moi. Thank you all, and as always, power to the people and to all the people power. Get woke and stay woke as fuck.